Hi, and thanks for stopping by to check out what's new in Farmbrite this month. We've spent the last month focused on updating and enhancing the Farmbrite accounting system. This includes creating a new chart of accounts structure for you to customize the accounting categories associated with your income and expense transactions. Beyond setting up the new categories, your individual transactions are now able to be split and associated with multiple categories. The new categorization is also carried over to your profit and loss statement, which we've also enhanced to provide additional reporting on specific fields, animals, crops, and equipment. And we've also designed a new tax summary report to help you differentiate your internal categories from tax filing requirements. These updates are available for you immediately, and you can start setting them up and using them right now. However, be aware that the new chart of accounts feature is optional, and your existing Schedule F financial categories, transactions, and reports will remain unchanged if you do not elect to enable it. Also, you can still split transactions and take advantage of the new reports, even if you don't customize your chart of accounts. Let's dive into each one of those new features, and don't forget to check out our Help Center for more in depth walkthroughs. Let's start with the chart of accounts. This option is found under Account, Chart of Accounts. The main concept here is that you will create custom categories for your income and expense transactions, which will help you run more detailed reports and summaries of where your business revenue is coming from and how it's being spent. You can create new categories entirely from scratch, or begin with the default categories and then edit and add to them as you'd like. This structure you build is entirely up to you and customizable to meet your individual needs. Note the default categories that you're seeing mirror the United States Schedule F tax categories, and if you have customized your accounting transactions in the past, previously created categories will also be included in the default. After making this selection, you can then add more categories or edit the existing ones, as well as create connections for subcategories and levels of reporting. Each category can also be associated with a tax line, letting you use these categories for internal tracking on your profit and loss statement while retaining their relationship to your tax filings on your tax summary report. Now let's move over to our accounting dashboard and take a look at splitting transactions. Whether you've customized a detailed chart of accounts or decided to stick with the defaults, you'll want to be sure to correctly categorize your transactions for accurate reporting. Sometimes that means taking a single transaction and assigning it to multiple categories. For example, you might record an expense from a recent order from your supplier in a single transaction, but need to separate the total amount into categories like feed, fertilizer, and taxes. When you add the transaction, you can now choose to split payment and divide the total into unique categories. You can even associate the split transaction with different animals, equipment, or plantings. These split transactions are then correctly divided for you on your profit and loss statement, giving you more insight into where your money is spent and where it's coming from. And speaking of more detailed insight, we've now added links to individual profit and loss statements on your grow locations, crops, livestock, and equipment. You can navigate to any of those records and choose its accounting tab to see a list of income and expense transactions associated with it. From there, you can choose the P&L statement link to get a profit and loss statement specifically for those transactions associated with this record. This chicken flock is a great example of this. You can see that we're accounting for costs like initial purchase price, feed, and vet visits, and then also see income from some hens we've sold and the sale of eggs at our farm stand. And while you might create all kinds of unique categories in your new chart of accounts to track your income and expenses in ways that work for you probably still need to report those transactions in a more uniform way on your taxes. In this example, we have separate categories for cattle feed, chicken feed, and goat feed, and all of them are tied to tax line 16. You can now run a tax summary report that can combine transactions from different accounting categories into a single tax line. And this report will total any categories with the same line into one row on the report. We'll see them all combined as a single expense for feed. When we generate a profit and loss statement, we see them broken out individually, along with a total for the overall feed category. Let us know if you have any questions as you explore these new features, and reach out if you have ideas for additional accounting updates and improvements.